Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into a topic that's sure to stir emotions, and that's the worst franchises in NBA history. Whether you're here to laugh or learn, this is a conversation that cuts to the very heart of what makes sports fandom both exhilarating and agonizing. Since the NBA's inception in 1947, the league has crowned champions, celebrated dynasties, and immortalized legends. But for every Michael Jordan-led Bulls or Steph Curry-powered Warriors, there are teams whose history is defined not by triumph, but by heartache. Today, we're focusing on those franchises, the ones whose mismanagement, missed opportunities, and plain bad luck have kept them perpetually in the shadow of greatness. We'll go through the top 5 worst franchises in NBA history, with a couple of dishonorable mentions along the way. As we dive in, we'll explore their records, their fleeting moments of success, and what, if anything, the future might hold for them. So let's jump right in. Kicking off our list is a team that, despite being relatively young, has already earned a pretty bad reputation, and that's the New Orleans Pelicans. Founded in 2002 as the New Orleans Hornets, this team has had 2 decades to make its mark. Unfortunately, the mark they've left is a smudge at best. Let's start with the numbers. An all-time record of 782 and 904 currently, which translate to a winning percentage of just .46. Not great, but not atrocious until you factor in their postseason record. The Pelicans have made the playoffs just 8 times in their history, with an all-time playoff record of 22 and 33. They've never advanced past the second round, and they've never even hit the 50-win mark in a regular season. What makes their story even more frustrating is the talent that's passed through their roster. Chris Paul, one of the greatest point guards in NBA history, spent 6 seasons in New Orleans, but the team never surrounded him with enough talent to truly contend. Then came Anthony Davis, a generational big man who gave them 7 seasons of dominance, yet once again, the Pelicans squandered the opportunity to build a championship caliber roster around him. And now, the franchise is banking on Zion Williamson and Brandon Ingram, players with incredible potential but whose career so far has been marred by injuries. Can they finally break through? Only time will tell, but history isn't on their side.
Later tonight, our doubleheader continues with the Clippers and the Grizzlies from Vancouver. It's only the second home game in franchise history for Brian Winter's bunch. The first was last Sunday.
At number 4, we have the Memphis Grizzlies, a franchise with a tale of 2 eras. The bleak Vancouver years and the slightly less bleak Memphis years. Founded in 1995 as the Vancouver Grizzlies, this team was doomed from the start. In their 6 seasons in Canada, they never won more than 23 games in a single season. Their .16 win percentage during the 1998-99 season remains one of the worst in NBA history. When the franchise moved to Memphis in 2001, things slowly started to improve. The grit and grind era of the early 2010s, led by Marc Gasol, Mike Conley, and Zach Randolph, gave fans something to cheer about. The team even made it to the Western Conference Finals in 2013, a remarkable achievement for a franchise with such a rough start. But let's not sugarcoat it, their overall record isn't great, and it's even worse when you look at their playoff record of 36 and 56. This is just a testament to how much losing this franchise has endured. Even now, as they boast one of the league's most exciting young rosters, the question remains, can they ever overcome their history of underachievement? Coming in at number 3 is a franchise with one of the most confusing and disappointing histories in the NBA, and that's the Charlotte Hornets. First established in 1988, the Hornets were a lovable underdog in the early 90s, thanks to players like Alonzo Mourning, Larry Johnson, and Muggsy Bogues. But the team never advanced past the second round of the playoffs. In 2002, the franchise relocated to New Orleans, leaving Charlotte without a team until 2004 when the Bobcats were born. The Bobcats were frankly a disaster. In the 2011-12 season, they posted the worst winning percentage in NBA history, a jaw-dropping .106 with a record of 7-59. When the franchise reclaimed the Hornets' name in 2014, fans hoped for a fresh start, but the results have been largely the same. Their current playoff drought, which dates back to 2016, is the longest in the NBA. Despite the promising talent of LaMelo Ball, the Hornets remain stuck in the league's basement. Here's a tough pill to swallow. Since their inception, the Hornets have won just 23 playoff games. That's fewer than some teams manage in a single postseason. Charlotte fans, I wish I had better news for you. Next up, we have a team that's become synonymous with disappointment, and that's the Los Angeles Clippers. While their recent success might make this ranking seem harsh, it's impossible to ignore the decades of ineptitude that preceded it. Originally founded as the Buffalo Braves in 1970, the franchise moved to San Diego in 1978 and then to Los Angeles in 1984. During those early years, the Clippers were the NBA's laughingstock, plagued by poor management, bad draft picks, and a lack of overall direction. It wasn't until 2006, 30 years into their own existence, that they won their first playoff series since their Buffalo days. Even in the Lob City era, when the team was loaded with talent, they couldn't get past the second round. And while they finally reached the Western Conference Finals in 2021, their inability to win a championship despite significant investment keeps them on this list. The Clippers have come a long way, but until they win a title, their legacy will remain one of missed opportunities. And finally, at number 1, we have the Minnesota Timberwolves. Since their inception in 1989, the Wolves have been nothing short of dysfunctional. With the worst all-time winning percentage in the NBA at just .40, just 11 playoff appearances and only 2 playoff series wins outside of Kevin Garnett's MVP season, Minnesota's history is a sobering one. Take away that magical 2004 run and what's left? Years of failed draft picks, coaching changes, and a general lack of direction. Even with promising young stars like Anthony Edwards and Karl Anthony Towns, the Timberwolves have yet to prove they can sustain success. Even after their Western Conference Finals appearance last season, they said goodbye to Karl Anthony Towns in a shocking move, and this season the Wolves don't look like they're the same team as they once were. Minnesota fans, you've endured more than your fair share of pain. Here's hoping your patience pays off someday and the team goes on to win something meaningful. It wouldn't be right not to mention 2 leading dishonorable mentions, the Brooklyn Nets and the Indiana Pacers. The Nets have never even sniffed an NBA championship, even with the likes of Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and James Harden on the roster at the same time. And well, the Indiana Pacers seem to be always competitive, but are never truly championship contenders. So what have we learned today when we discuss the worst teams in the league's history? The NBA is a league of highs and lows, but for these franchises, the lows have been especially brutal. Still, there's always hope. With the right leadership, a little luck, and a lot of perseverance, any team can turn around its fortunes. Now, I want to hear from you guys. Which of these teams do you think will break their curse first? Are there other franchises that also deserve a spot on this list? If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more upcoming videos and NBA content. My name is Damian Peters. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.